Fire away.
All right, Coach, what's your approach to the bye week?
How y'all doing today? Y'all doing all right today?
How are you doing?
Everybody doing all right? It's good to see everybody smiling. It was great to be out here at practice again today. Our approach to the bye week is getting better. I mean, that's what it's all about. We have to get better as a football team in every phase and every individual. We anticipate that we'll have a long season, so therefore there are individuals who are not getting the opportunity to be out there as much as they really want to and desire to, that may get that opportunity later on down the road. So we got to continue to develop guys and give them the opportunities to showcase that when their opportunity comes up, they will be prepared and ready to go.
How would you evaluate your position group through 3 weeks?
So far, so good. I think that there's some things that we have to do even better, but I think that that's a part of football. You hope to have your best performance each and every week. You hope that, guess what? I'm not regressing when I get to the next game. So certainly we've done a good job of displaying that we're capable of blocking on the perimeter violently and striking people. We've shown that when the opportunity in clutch moments, we need our guys to make plays and get us in the end zone, we can do that. We've shown that we can be explosive at the group. So definitely have a lot of positive things. And of course, as a coach, it's my job to harp on those negative things when we're in those meetings.
What have you seen from Kendrick Law? A guy that's done a lot, but maybe not gotten on the stat sheet as much.
You know what? A lot of people get worried about a lot of different things. What I recall about this sport is it is a team sport. So there are certain jobs and requirements that are a little bit more dirty, but we expect everybody to do those dirty jobs. There's the flashy jobs where you get a chance to go out there and you make the fans stand up on their feet. Okay, well, I hope that some of the down and dirty work that we do, we're getting the fans to stand up on their feet, and Kendrick Law does those things. He's going to do the down and dirty work. He's going to be that junkyard dog that you're looking for and give us opportunity to have success in a variety of ways.
Say with Kendrick Law, are there any wide receivers who block just as good as him, or is he head and shoulders in that regard?
Certainly, if you watch the tape, Jeremy Bernard is blocking just as well as him. I don't know if he's as violent as Law is at times. However, Jeremy Bernard is a technician. He really, truly is. He's going to get the right leverage, be in the right location where he needs to be. But then I tell these guys all the time, knee benders are jawbreakers. So they're going to bend their knees to strike on contact. And that's what Jeremy does better than anybody else, is bend his knees so that he can uncoil and strike on contact.
You were just talking last time we were in here, though, when we were talking about blocking, and I'm paraphrasing you. I don't remember your exact words, but it sounded like you were saying, look, body position and shielding the man in open space is a bigger deal than pancake, right? So, but is there a balance to be struck there, I guess?
It certainly is, but if you can knock somebody on the rear end, it doesn't matter what your body positioning is at that point. And so, if we can knock them on the ground, then we're going to do everything we can to knock them on the ground. But as before I said, hey, we got to know who to block, how to block them. All right, but then we got to have a desire to want to block them, and that's where I think our group has that. They have that ability. Even Ryan, who's not the biggest guy, he gets in a great body position. If you go back and look at a couple of those touchdown runs by the quarterback, even one in South Florida got called back. I mean, Ryan's in perfect body position to prevent his guy from getting a hand on the defender. So, yeah, you don't always have to knock him down to be an elite blocker. I think PFF has had him down as one of our top blockers, So it's just, hey, get in great body position.
A guy like Ryan, how have you seen him as he kind of drinks through a fire hose over the first 3 weeks of his collegiate career? How have you seen him respond to that, the stage, the pressure of what he's been able to do over the course of his first 3 weeks?
I'll tell you what, that fire hose isn't that big, because when I think of a fire hose, I see someone's mouth getting blown wide open when they're drinking through a fire hose. His fire hose must be pretty small because, this dude is conscientious, understands the game, understands what we're asking him, and the moment's not too big for him. Not at any point have I felt like the moment was too big from the first day that he stepped on campus. So I just think that he has to just continuously try to improve in small details of really route running, because he's not as polished as a route runner as I'd like for him to be. All right, but then also his defensive recognition being able to see what the defenders are, what they're going to send to him by doing a great job of reading the triangle. So there's definitely things he's working on to get better at. But his knowledge of our offense, I mean, it's really impressive to see what this young man has been able to do in terms of learning this offense.
You talk about his position. Go ahead,
You
Tom.
talked about Grizzly Bears last week. What did you see from the Georgia secondary?
Oh man, you know what? They do a great job in the secondary. These guys are physical. They're going to strike you. They're fast. They can play the ball in the air. I mean, 24. I mean, freaky interception that he had against Clemson. I mean, just freaky. I mean, I think the guy's going to be a first-round draft pick. So, I mean, we got our work cut out for us in that with that secondary there. I mean, the nickel, he's tough. I mean, they're coming down, hitting people, making great tackles. They're going to hit you in a variety of different ways. There's times they're going to hit you low. Sometimes they're going to hit you right in your chest. I mean, they do a lot of different things that make us realize, hey, we got our work cut out for us in this upcoming game.
Shep, I'm going to take you back a little bit. When you first heard that Nick Saban had retired, what you were thinking when you thought Kalen was going to get the job, or did that cross your mind before he did? And then you coming here, him asking you to come here.
You know, I don't know what I'm allowed to tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you. But Nick Saban, him retiring, that was a shock, I think, through all of college football. I mean, when you think about him and what he's done and what he's been capable of as a head football coach, but not even just that, what he's done to provide opportunities for not only his players, but also the coaches that have coached underneath him. You realize this is the end of an era, of a legendary era when it comes to Nick Saban. So that's initially what your thoughts are. You know, his footprint is all over college football. And more than just that, I mean, he has just made college football better for our student athletes across the board. I mean, I think he pushed the envelope in a variety of ways to provide it, to make sure that it was a better situation for student athletes in our game. All right, but then, you know, my wife and I started talking. As soon as we had heard the news that he was retired, my wife said, Kalen DeBoer is going to be the head football coach at Alabama. My wife said that right away.
Wish I'd been talking to him.
And so I'm like, she's like, I think they're going to hire Kalen. I'm like, well, we got a pretty good gig here. And lo and behold, you know what? They ended up hiring Kalen. And when he got hired, you know, as a position coach, I mean, you got a lot of different thoughts going on in your head. You know, things about your current situation, potential for a different situation, and certainly I just hoped and prayed that, you know, I'd done enough to make sure that I had a job. We say it in the coaching profession all the time. It's like you know, going around in a circle, like ring around the rosy, you know, or what's the dang on? We say it all the time. Of course, I can't remember exactly the phrase, but just have a chair when the music stops, and that's what we think about all the time.
Yeah, well, you hear a lot from coaches about the lifestyle, and they say how, you know, the coaching business moves so much, you end up leaving houses behind, and in a down housing market, that can cost a lot of money. What's the most houses you've ever heard of an assistant coach being on the hook for at the same time?
Well, I've heard of a guy having 3 houses that he was on the hook for. Yeah, I've heard of that. I mean, we even had, you know, coaches on our staff who had, you know, 2 houses, paying double mortgages for long periods of time. And so, I mean, that you're just hoping that you don't have to do that as you go
on the
through
hook
this.
for 2?
I've been fortunate that no, I've not been on the hook for 2. I'll give all the credit to my wife. She does a phenomenal job of, first and foremost, selection, then second of all, doing little things to the house to improve it so that it's
You almost got to
easy going on the
evaluate them, like,
market.
is this something I could get rid of quick? Is that part of the decision? You know what I mean?
There's no doubt about it, and anybody who says that that's not true, I think they're lying. There's a little bit of it, you know, hey, if I had to leave, would this be something that would go on the market and be easily, you know, moved on from? And, you know, we've been fortunate, honestly. I mean, I've really been fortunate in this career to be able to stay at places for long periods of time. I was at Western Kentucky 5 seasons. I was at Purdue 5 seasons, you know, and I mean, I was at Washington for 2 and would have been there as long as Kalen was there, you know, and so, you know, you just hope to be at places for long periods of time. It's not just that, guys. We got kids. and that are leaving friends behind. And I mean, it's sad, man. My daughter left a great dance academy that she was so excited about being, and then now you got to come here. And I mean, I know you guys have seen those TV show Dance Moms and stuff like that. I mean, you're hoping that you're getting the right situation for even your daughter. Like that, to me, was probably the thing that hurt me most. You know, leaving one of her places and going somewhere else. It's like she left an academy that she was in love with. Well, luckily here in Tuscaloosa, we found a great one as well.
What did the media see Jeremy Bernard scores first touchdown coming from Washington, and what about the route that he ran on that play?
Man, you know what? I probably was pressing more than anybody else about him getting in the end zone. I really did want to get him in the end zone at some point. However, you know, I'm not going to ever do it and sacrifice anything for our football team, and I think Jeremy would express the same thing. But the route he ran was fantastic. I mean, it's a super detailed route. With the vertical pressure that he has to put on a defender to keep him deep enough so that when he breaks to the inside. Now, if you watch the route, he's supposed to get his eyes back, but he did a good job understanding that the defender wasn't really leaning as much as he needed to. So he kind of kept his eyes on the defender so that he could rip back through the outside of the defender and get back. But again, it's the physical toughness that he has to run through contact. You know, a lot of guys in that situation, contact, they start flailing their arms. Hey, that's pass interference. No, he wasn't allowing it because he was hungry for it and he wanted that one.
This Georgia secondary, how important is it to win one-on-one matchups against the secondary and this defense?
Well, I think that's pretty much important every game. I mean, you're going to get one-on-one matchups. I mean, people are going to play man coverage in certain instances, especially on third downs and things of that nature. So I think that that's important in every single game, regardless of who the opponent is. So just as important as it is for other opponents, it'll be equally important in this game.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.